Hello?
Yes.
Yes, hi. Hello?
Hello.
Hey, we're ready, guys. Is muting. Okay. The broadcast of the adjourned meeting of the Charter Commission will now begin.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to our broadcast of our virtual meeting. This meeting includes the remote participation of members as authorized under Minnesota statutes, section 13D.021, due to the declared local health pandemic. I am Barry Clegg. I'm the chair of the Charter Commission, and I call this meeting to order and ask the clerk to please call the roll so that we may verify the presence of a quorum.
Commissioner Abbott.
Present.
Commissioner Cohen.
Here.
Commissioner Garcia.
Present.
Commissioner Ginder.
Present.
Commissioner Giroux Isaacson.
Present.
Commissioner Kozak.
Here.
Commissioner Lickness. Commissioner Metke.
Here.
Commissioner Newborn. Commissioner Perry.
Here.
Commissioner Rubenstein.
Present.
Commissioner Sandberg.
Here.
Commissioner Schwarzkopf.
Present.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Lickness. Commissioner Newborn. Chair Clegg.
Here.
There are 13 members present.
We have a quorum. We'll now proceed to our agenda, a copy of which was posted for public access to the city's legislative information management system, which is available at lims.minneapolismn.gov. Commissioners, the agenda for today's meeting is before us. Before we adopt the agenda, I will propose that we put some limits on tonight's public hearing. We have more than 200 people who have signed up to speak, and in order to make sure we hear from as many people as possible, I suggest we limit tonight's public hearing to 1 minute per speaker and to receive 2 hours of testimony in total. So once we open the public meeting, we will continue for 2 hours. I will note for the public that we have a second public hearing next Tuesday, July 21 at 6 p.m. and that comments are also welcome at councilcomment@minneapolismn.gov. If we don't get to your testimony tonight, please feel free to submit your comment at the council comment line, and there will be another opportunity next week. I would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda with those additional parameters I just outlined for the public hearing.
Motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Abbott.
Aye.
Commissioner Cohen.
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia.
Aye.
Commissioner Ginder.
Aye.
Commissioner Giroux Isaacson.
Aye.
Commissioner Kozak. Commissioner Lickness. Commissioner Metke.
Aye.
Commissioner Newborn. Commissioner Perry.
Here, yet, aye.
Commissioner Rubenstein.
Aye.
Commissioner Sandberg.
Aye.
Commissioner Schwarzkopf.
Aye.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Kozak. Commissioner Lickness. Commissioner Newborn. Chair Clegg.
Aye.
I for Kozak.
Commissioner Kozak is aye. There are 13 ayes.
That motion passes, and we have an agenda. Next is the approval of the minutes from the July 8th meeting, which were posted online. May I please have a motion to accept the minutes?
Sandberg, so moved.
Second.
Second, Schwarzkopf.
Heard a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, will the clerk please call the roll on the minutes?
Commissioner Abbott,
Aye.
Commissioner Cullen,
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia,
Aye.
Commissioner Ginder,
Aye.
Commissioner Juro Isaacson,
Aye.
Commissioner Kozak,
Aye.
Commissioner Lickness, Commissioner Medke,
Aye.
Commissioner Newborn, Commissioner Perry,
Aye.
Commissioner Rubenstein,
Aye.
Commissioner Sandberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Schwarzkopf,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Lickness, Commissioner Newborn, Chair Flag.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the chair's report, and I don't have anything to report that is not otherwise on our agenda for this evening. So we'll now proceed to the main item on our agenda tonight, which is a public hearing on the proposed charter amendment related to community safety and violence prevention. I will note for the public and for my fellow commissioners that around 200 people have signed up tonight. So I'll review a few ground rules to ensure we are able to hear from as many people as possible. First, for charter commissioners, tonight is for listening, not replies or speeches. We'll have plenty of time for that later. So please mute your microphones and turn off your cameras unless you have a technical emergency. For the public, each speaker will have 1 minute, which will be managed by the clerk. If any speaker exceeds their 1 minute limit, I will kindly let you know that your time is up and we'll move on to the next speaker. I will also ask those that are testifying tonight to avoid repetition in your comments. So if somebody before you has given the exact same speech, you can just say that you agree with that person or you're for or against the amendment. We want to maximize the number of people we hear from at this public hearing. I do have a request for those who have called in to tonight's meeting. To help our staff manage the hundreds of people that would like to speak, we encourage everyone who is not waiting to speak, if you're just here to listen, to leave the call and to monitor the meeting either online or on TV. This meeting can be watched on Comcast channels 14 or 799, CenturyLink channels 8001 or 8501. It's also live streamed on the city's website at minneapolismn.gov/counciltv or from the city's YouTube channel, which is at youtube.com/City of Minneapolis with no spaces. So all of those options are available to you. For those who do plan to speak, once you've completed your remarks, please leave the call and join the meeting in one of the ways I just mentioned, if you would. Finally, I'll note for everyone that we do have another public hearing scheduled for next week, July 21 at 6 p.m. If you're not able to get to your comments tonight, we encourage you to sign up for next week's public hearing, and you can also submit written comments, as I said earlier, to councilcomment@minneapolismn.gov. Your comments submitted online and to the council comment line will be incorporated in the public record, and charter commissioners are reading every one. I'll now open the public hearing to receive public comment on the proposed amendment relating to community safety and violence prevention. Staff will call on speakers by identifying the last 4 digits of the phone number you're calling from. When you hear your number being called, please press *6 to unmute your phone and identify yourself, along with what neighborhood or part of the city you are from. If you are uncomfortable giving your full name, that's fine. You can just give your first name or your last initial as you prefer. The public hearing is now open and will conclude at 7:15 this evening. Clerk, will you please call the first caller?
The first number ends in 2204. 2204, press *6 to unmute. The next number ending in 0810, 0810, press *6 to unmute.
My name is Dominique Diaz. My name is Dominique Diaz-Gocash. I'm a resident of Seward. This Charter Commission created an opportunity to offer larger frameworks such as restorative abolition, truth and reconciliation, and reparations as feasible means to address harm and work toward advancing a bold community vision rooted in a greater well-being. I'm speaking today as a survivor of state violence, a community organizer, and a restorative practitioner. While restorative and transformative justice are popular concepts by name, we as practitioners realize that the breadth and depth of understanding of these practices has yet to hit home in many places. Restorative justice is defined as a means of resolving conflict and healing harm caused by an action rather than punishing the one who caused the harm. It allows those who cause harm to speak to those responsible for the harm and come to a consensus about how to address it and move forward. It's focused on restoration and reconciliation. Restorative justice or restorative practices are rooted in human-centered values that uphold the dignity of all people. We believe our community cannot approach safety systems or interventions from any other position. This is especially true with regard to those institutions which were established on the basis of anti-Black racism and settler colonialism. As such, we believe that our community possesses the talent, wisdom, and skills to identify new approaches in a way that uplifts technical solutions, is rooted in lived experiences of those who have been harmed by existing systems, and advances a community-informed process. We believe our community of circle keepers and restorative practitioners are better situated to facilitate this work over private and corporate consultants.
That's time, Speaker. Thank you.
The next number ending in 0751, 0751, press *6 to unmute.
Let's give people about 10 seconds to unmute and then presume that they are not on the line, and we can return to them at the end if we have time.
Okay, the next number ending in 4601, 4601, press *6 to unmute. State your name for the record.
Catherine Schaefer.
Go ahead, Speaker.
Catherine Schaefer. Can you hear me? I'm Catherine.
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, great. Hi. So I'm calling from Ward 3, and I want to ask the Commission to put the Community Safety Amendment on the ballot this year. I know lots of other callers are going to list great reasons for it, and I'd like to speak to each of you on a personal level. I never thought I'd see any kind of move toward dismantling the police in my lifetime, despite wanting it. And now we're at a time in history where we have unprecedented support for exploring these options that keep our community safe and dismantling a system that has murdered our brown and Black residents and shows no possibility for reform. In considering whether to include this amendment, each of you has a really exciting opportunity and an exciting role to play in the history of our city and of our country. And I ask that you call on your imaginations and the wisdom of our local activists, like Reclaim the Block and Black Visions Collective, and think about the momentous role this decision could play in changing our communities. I hope that someday we can both look back proudly on the brave steps that we took, making Minneapolis a leader in innovative community safety practices, and put this on the ballot as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
The number ending in 1728, 1728, press *6, state your name for the record.
Brianna Dobb, living in South Minneapolis, Longfellow neighborhood. I'm a white licensed social worker, and Minneapolis needs a community-based model of safety. And this charter amendment is the first step in allowing that. We need a system that acknowledges that Black Lives Matter and a system that will work to make sure that community safety data reflects that fact. So I support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
The number ending in 2763. 2763, press *6 to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, speaker.
Hello. My name is Justin Tolliver. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Justin. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Justin. I'm from South Minneapolis in the Powderhorn neighborhood. I am a resident of Minneapolis and a member of Black Vision. I'm dreaming of the day when I will live in a Minneapolis where we don't have to live in terror of MPD, where all other things that actually keep us safe are well funded, which are housing, resources for mental health and addiction, programs that intervene in domestic violence and gun violence, and protections for workers. The police have committed unspeakable violence and caused enormous problems in our city. We need every tool in the toolbox to address the violent system and to build what comes next. Changing the charter will allow us to loosen the tight grip that MPD has in our city by removing the charter requirements that keep MPD locked in power in our city. We know that you all probably joined a body like the Charter Commission because you believe that major decisions about our city's future should be made with care. They should be made equitably. They should be made democratically. We are committed to making sure that the conversation we have here tonight is one of many rigorous discussions about the future of policing in Minneapolis. Put the amendment on the ballot so that our communities have real power over the future of MPD. If our communities want to eliminate MPD and overhaul our city's approach to safety, we should have the power to do that. The charter.
Thank you, speaker. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
The number ending in 7256. 7256. Press *6 and state your name.
Requirements that keep MPD locked in power in our city. We know that you all probably joined a body like the Charter Commission because you believe.
The number ending in 1802. 1802. Press *6 to unmute. Okay. The next number ending in 7615. 7615. Press *6 to unmute and state your name for the record. The number ending in 2409. 2409. Press *6 to unmute.
Hi.
Go ahead, speaker.
Hi, I'm Eleanor. I'm calling tonight from Northeast Minneapolis. I also attend college here in Minneapolis and work full-time in healthcare. I'm here to urge you all to respond to the City Council by August 5th. The people of Minneapolis have loudly and clearly expressed desire to rethink safety of our community. We are ready to take responsibility for safety and are capable of working together to find this. The desire to live in a safe world and the desire to engage with democracies are desires to be proud of and respect. Your role in creating safe city is simple right now. Allow democracy to happen by clearing the way for us to vote on the city charter this November. It is time to let go and to listen to your constituents. Let us vote.
Thank you. Next speaker.
The number ending in 0638. 0638. Press *6 to unmute.
Hello, Commission. My name is Claire McCarty, and I am a recent college grad who moved to the Mercy Homes neighborhood of Minneapolis for a new job a couple of weeks after the murder of George Floyd by the Minneapolis Police Department. Though I have not lived here for long, I am proud to be a resident of this city that has so much passion and action regarding the dignity of Black lives. The Minneapolis Police Department has proven through the consistent and disgraceful brutalization of Black, Brown, and Indigenous lives that they are unfit to serve and protect us. The current charter must be amended to allow us all to thrive. The people of Minneapolis must have a hand in changing the charter, and that is only possible if we are able to vote. I urge you to let the voices of Minneapolis be heard and let us vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
The number ending in 6152. 6152. 6152, press star 6 to unmute. The number ending in 2091. 2091, press star 6 to unmute. The number ending in 7505. 7505, press star 6 to unmute. The number ending in 5532. 5532, press star 6 to unmute. State your name for the record.
My name is Alberto Felix, Ward 12, Standish neighborhood. I support the amendment to change the city charter. We, the community, the Minneapolis residents, have been silent for far too long. We have a civic and duty moral responsibility to have a voice and be heard in what the community's safety and violence prevention means to us. We deserve to be a part of the process, and justice cannot wait another year. It is urgent that we, the people of Minneapolis, are allowed to vote to change the charter this November. It is the only decision that respects the democratic process. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
The number ending in 6040. 6040.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you. Go ahead, speaker.
Hello?
Hello, we hear you.
Okay, great. My name is Rosie Lowe. I live in South Minneapolis. I'm calling in support of the charter amendment. The MPD has proven time and time again that they are not equipped, despite ample funding, to respond to crisis or prevent violence. Even in recent events, they have arrived after the fact or have escalated situations. The opportunity to vote on changing the charter will allow the community, rather than the police union, to decide what is needed to make sure the people of Minneapolis, especially those most vulnerable members of our population, are safe. The charter is currently a roadblock for community-led change, and amending the charter can make room for the development of long-term solutions and violence or harm prevention strategies that actually work and are already happening. We have seen mutual aid zones, de-escalation trainings, Narcan trainings, and of course all of the organizing around the encampments be effectively led by the community organizers who are working together. The vision is there and the skills are there and the people have spoken. So now the Charter Commission needs to let the community decide. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
The number ending in 5255. 5255, press star 6 to unmute and state your name for the record.
Hi, my name is Meg Reed. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, speaker.
Hi, my name is Meg Reed. I live in the Whittier neighborhood in South Minneapolis, and I'm also calling in support of putting the amendment on the ballot this fall. I think, unfortunately, many members of our community are very familiar with police violence, but we are living in an extraordinary moment because we have a real chance at change. And I think it requires extraordinary bravery on the part of the people of Minneapolis and the Charter Commission to understand that this is not business as usual, and it is very important that it goes on the ballot. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
The number ending in 2040. 2040. Press star 6 to unmute and state your name for the record.
Hi, this is Trevor Kopman.
Go ahead, speaker.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we are. Please go ahead.
Excellent. Thanks. I'm a resident in Minneapolis, particularly in the Powderhorn area, and I'm calling to urge this body to recommend no later than August 5th the charter amendment put forth by the City Council, particularly so that we can all have a voice in creating a future of our city through the election. I think it's clear to me, you, as well as many other folks who have joined in on this conversation already, that we need a new system to create a new vision for what safe communities look like beyond policing. And while that's a critical conversation, I want to remind this body that you are not the arbiters of that conversation and that process, and that it would be a disservice to our democracy that this body would stand in the way of that. And so I want to posit two questions to this group. And the first one is, do community members get to decide together what community looks like and what community safety looks like? And are the people of Minneapolis entitled to a democratic process through which we get to decide the future of our city? I submit that the answers to both those questions is yes, and ask that you recommend the charter amendment to move forward and to let us vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
The number ending in 0223, 0223. Press *6 to unmute. The number ending in 4606, 4606. Press *6 to unmute and state your name for the record.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Angel, and I'm a member or a resident of North Minneapolis. And I would like to speak against the amendment, the charter amendment. This charter amendment would block real legislation that is out there by organizations to actually protect people from police killings. This amendment will not do enough, and will not do enough for people being murdered and slaughtered by the Minneapolis of St. Paul, whatever police department in Minnesota. They are out here killing people for no reason. We're talking about mental health issues. We're talking about when people need assistance for something. We're talking about having an encounter with a police officer for under 12 seconds and you die.
Thank you. Thank you, speaker. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
So I vote against this amendment.
The number ending in 4606, 4606. Press *6 to unmute.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead, speaker. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Nafisa Hassam. I live in Northeast Minneapolis, and I vote in support of the charter amendment to be on the ballot. And I urge everybody to do that as well. Unless you live under a rock, you might know that the police brutality is a common occurrence in America.
They cut me off because I told them about killing Minneapolis police.
All right. Every day, innocent people have their rights violated, their belongings taken from them. And I think the police have clearly shown that they can't hold themselves accountable, and it shows. And they always win in court, which means that in most cases, what can the citizens do? So I do urge this is my city and this is my home, and I want to change it for the better. So I urge you to put the community safety amendment on the ballot. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
The number ending in 2232, 2232. Press *6 and state your name for the record. Go ahead, you're unmuted.
Jordan. I live in South Minneapolis, and I am voting against the charter amendment due to the fact that the city council currently employs more than 150 police officers over what the charter requires, and they are not using the power they currently have to reshape and defund the police to that level, which they currently could do to fund many things in our community, which we currently are underfunding. And instead, they are proposing talking points and not actually presenting a plan, but simply asking for more power versus using the power they could have today to change how we do policing in this city.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
The number ending in 3768. 3768. Press *6 to unmute and state your name for the record.
Nintij Nakazbadabin Nindu De Makwa Rory Wake 'em Up is my name. I'm enrolled in the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe Boys Fort Band, Honka, Dakota. I was raised in Dakota ceremonies, and Minnesota is my island. I just happen to live in the metro area. I agree with everyone who is for the amendment previously, so I don't need to add much more except to add that I work in and with community in Minneapolis, and this is more of a warning that if I don't even know if the amendment will be enough soon enough, because the city's a powder keg, and if you haven't been on the streets, if you've been on the streets, you'd know that. So I think another riot or large uprising in a violent way is imminent. I would really prefer nonviolent stuff, but I think folks in our community are already fed up. So I think amendment's good, but more needs to happen sooner. And if you need help, you know how to get in touch with me, Rory Wake 'em Up. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Next speaker, please.
The number ending in 7361. 7361. Press *6 to unmute. The number ending in 0060. 0060. Press start.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Wonderful, thank you. My name is Elizabeth Goodney. I live in Harrison, and I also support putting the charter amendment on the ballot. This is my first time ever testifying to Minneapolis government or any government, and as someone who, like a lot of people in the city, are getting more involved, I think it's imperative to the democratic process that we're allowed to vote. I was with my family at the first march after the murder of George Floyd, and we, along with thousands of other Minneapolis residents, made our voices heard that it is time now for significant structural change to how we handle safety and violence prevention. I was there with my 6-year-old daughter. When she saw the police, she asked me if the police were going to squeeze us to death. When a 6-year-old has to ask that question, something is seriously, urgently wrong that cannot wait to be fixed. The community knows this, and we made our voices heard in the streets and to our city council members, and they have unanimously proposed the charter amendment. The city website describes the charter as a way a community establishes and maintains a municipal corporation to provide for the common health, safety, and welfare of its people. Our charter is currently written as not doing that, since it mandates a department that is currently structured as killing our people.
Thank you, Speaker.
Please act now. Thank you.
The number ending in 3830. 3830. The number ending in 7114. 7114. Press *6 to unmute. The number ending in 7738. 7738. Press *6 to unmute. 7738, go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Great. Yeah, my name is Solomon Schlegel. I live in Ward 10, the Whittier neighborhood. I'm calling to urge you to move forward with the charter amendment. I'm calling in support of the amendment to the current city charter. I have witnessed in Whittier since the uprising and across the Twin Cities, communities banding together to establish feelings of safety and care for one another, and to keep the police out. We know that our various neighborhoods know that a future without police is possible, and we need to do everything we can right now to protect our citizens who are the most vulnerable, and stop the murder of Black, Brown, and Indigenous individuals, community members, neighbors in our cities. So we can take this first step by amending the charter as soon as possible.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
The number ending in 2225. 2225. Press *6 to unmute.
Hi, my name is Adam Morgan. I'm a resident of South Minneapolis in the Powderhorn neighborhood. I also work at a nonprofit in South Minneapolis that was heavily impacted by the death and murder of George Floyd. I'm calling today to ask you as a city charter to make a recommendation at the August 5th deadline. City Council already unanimously approved for this to go through because they understand the immediacy of this topic as relates to Minneapolis residents and abroad. I'm also asking other Minneapolis residents to honor our democratic duty to vote on this topic regardless of our stance on it, because we have the responsibility to do so. However, we will not be afforded that responsibility if the city charter does not follow through on what you need to do in order to make that a possibility. So I'm asking today for you to please allow us to vote on an issue that is very important to us as a community, and do not forget that as we move forward. Please let us vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
The number ending in 5506. 5506. Press *6 to unmute.
Hello, this is Rose Nima, resident of South Minneapolis in the Longfellow neighborhood. I am asking the Charter Commission to do their job and to listen to Minneapolis residents. We are ready for a change. We have marched in the streets demanding change. Policing in Minneapolis and beyond has a history of disproportionate violence towards Black and Brown people. As it stands, the Minneapolis City Charter restricts us from moving forward. Changing the charter would allow us to safely reduce the number of officers and create a new department that will use proven safety strategies to protect our communities. We must change the charter to begin the process of creating a Minneapolis that is safe for all residents. Let us vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
The number ending in 0938. 0938. Press *6 to unmute.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Will Upton from Kingsfield, Minneapolis. I support the amendment being on the ballot as well. As citizens of Minneapolis, we have the right to decide what is best for our city through democratic means. And changing the charter is part of those means. This proposed amendment represents that democracy, allowing citizens to vote on the fundamental policy change in the wake of the murder of George Floyd and the protests that followed. Democracy also means that public officials need to be responsive and accountable to the demands of the public. The Charter Commission has a responsibility to make sure this amendment is on the ballot in November. Please put the amendment on the ballot and let the citizens decide on the proposed amendment during the November election. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
The next number is 0489. 0489. Press *6 to unmute. The number ending in 1385. 1385. Press star 6 to unmute and state your name for the record. The number ending in 9445. 9445. Press star 6 to unmute.
My name is Louis Schulz.
Go ahead, speaker. We can hear you.
I'm a resident of the Echo neighborhood in Uptown in Ward 10 of Minneapolis. And I've lived in Minneapolis now for over 4 years after moving here after graduation to attend a master's program in education, and have been working as a teacher in Minneapolis and the surrounding communities in various capacities ever since. Prior to George Floyd's killing and the subsequent uprising across our city, state, and country, it was already abundantly clear to many people in our city that our current system of policing was failing us and often putting the lives of members of our communities of color in peril. Since late May and early June, public opinion has seen a dramatic shift on the issue of policing practices. In early June, our city council voted unanimously to send this proposed charter amendment to the voters in November. Minneapolis has a once-in-a-century opportunity to become a progressive pioneer in reimagining how we keep our communities safe and thriving without putting lives at risk. I ask you to consider the urgency of this moment and to let the voters of Minneapolis decide how they would like to keep their community safe. Let us vote in November. Now is the time to act. Thanks.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
The number ending in 4026. 4026.
Hi, this is Jesse Goldfarb of Northeast.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Hi, this is Jesse Goldfarb of Northeast. I'm calling in support of the amendment. I believe that as written, our Chapter 7 of the Charter defining the police is way too narrowly defined, and we need to define law enforcement in a much broader way as part of our city, and the public deserves to be part of that discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Number ending in 8881. 8881. Press star 6 to unmute.
Check.
Speaker, we can barely hear you.
8881. Press star 6 to unmute.
Check.
Go ahead, we hear you.
All right. Hi, my name is Dylan Cheever. I have been a resident of Minneapolis for 19 years. I am far less eloquent than the past speakers, but here's what I have to say. I would like to encourage you, the Charter Commission, to make a recommendation on this amendment before August 5th so that the people of Minneapolis can have our say this November. Our elected city council has publicly commented to rethink or committed to rethink our public safety over the course of the coming year. And allowing a vote on this amendment would give them clarity on what their constituents want. So please let us vote. Also, I just wanted to mention that there's a lot of people who are on the line and unable to get into the discussion, even though they're pressing star 6. And so that's what's happening with a lot of these people not being there when you're calling on them. So thank you. Let us vote by August 5th. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next number ending in 7299. 7299.
Hello?
We hear you. Go ahead.
My name is Lindsay Turner. I live in the Bancroft neighborhood, Ward 8. I am calling to urge you to put the proposed amendment on the ballot this November. Doing so is in the best interest of democracy. The last time there was a charter amendment on the ballot, it was in 2018, and 179,930 Minneapolitans voted on it. We need to hear the city on this, and this can't wait another year. In 2017, which was the last year that I found data, the Minneapolis Police Department reported 847 uses of force incidents. 600 of those involved using body weight to pin. I hope you don't find technical reasons why not, because a mountain of technical reasons why not is what got us here. There's a state law that means that we can't technically kick violent suburbanites and ex-urbanites out of our police department. There's a state law that we can't technically make police who brutalize and kill pay those civil settlements that people do. I could go on and on. We can't wait another year. Community is buried under technicalities, and it's in the best interest of democracy to allow Minneapolitans to weigh in. Please do what you need to do to put this on the ballot.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 4905. 4905.
Hello.
We can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead, speaker.
Hello, my name is Keon Franklin, leader with BBCC of Isaiah. And I would first like to say we have to get Bob Kroll and his federation out. And it starts by changing the language in this charter. And people from our disenfranchised community, I'm from North Minneapolis representing, and we are not okay with 15 members of this charter commission who are predominantly white in this commission making these choices and being our voices. Right now, you guys are hesitant to give us our right to vote. It should always be prioritized and welcome. We're not asking you to put it on the ballot. We're demanding that you put it on the ballot. We need change in our community. You guys have a chance to change policing across the country. You guys need to lift up your minds, your hearts, and voices and make this happen for us in this city of Minneapolis.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
The number ending in 9728. 9728.
Jason Chavez, he, him, his, Ward 9 resident in support. MPD has proven to use violence as their first resort. There is no one doing the damage and harm that it's done, even when we have. Hello?
Hello, go ahead, speaker.
Hello? Jason Chavez, he, him, his, Ward 9 resident in support. MPD has proven to use violence as their first resort. There is no one doing the damage and harm that it's done. Even if we had a magic wand, made all cops good tomorrow, the damage done on Black, Brown, and Indigenous communities, the trauma that's happened is already ingrained in us. 7 years ago, at the age of 17, I was walking back with my cousin and friends to our relative's house where the plan was to spend the night. This was at a corner of Stop and Shop on East Lake Street and a block away from our destination. The police showed up, pointed their guns at us, and told us to get on the floor. What danger could a 17-year-old brown boy cause? The officer handcuffed us and started to touch my body. She patted my legs and uppercutted my private part. I screamed in pain, and she told me to stop resisting. I was not resisting. By the time the people I was with were already handcuffed in the back of the police car, she then proceeded to throw me in the car, shut the door on my leg. I was in pain and shouted again. Why would this even be allowed? We get to the police station, and we need to call someone for help. How do you call your immigrant parents for help when you will be putting them in danger? How do you feel safe as a 17-year-old boy that has been attacked by police? You can only think of the worst. We have the power to change. We have the power to start doing things differently, and I urge you all to support the amendment.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 7974. 7974. Get the number ending in 4898. 4898. Press *6 to unmute.
My name is Andrew. I am 2. I'm calling in support. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. Hi, my name is Andrew. I live in Ward 2. I'm calling in support of putting this charter amendment before voters this election. I encourage this commission to not delay this issue going before voters. I would not like to see what happened in 2018 with my council member's similar proposal related to police reform. And to go into some of my personal experience, as a teenager, I did 4 years of police explorers at the New Brighton Department of Public Safety. I had firsthand experience with Minneapolis police when they would host training sessions. And often there, I would hear them preach us versus them, always go home within a day, and other fear-based outlooks on policing that these volunteers to teenagers were telling them. And I'm sad to say that just over 10 years from that experience, that the culture of this police department has not changed. I see that the charter amendment would empower our city council to enact ordinances to more quickly and rapidly change the culture in our police department, also change the oversight where command staff could no longer be in the police union, like Lieutenant Bob Kroll.
Thank you.
Because there was a huge conflict of interest there. Thank you.
The number ending in 0178. 0178. Press *6 to unmute and state your name for the record.
My name is Amity Foster. I live in the Sheridan neighborhood of Northeast Minneapolis. The police system does not keep all people safe. It never has, but as a white person, I grew up believing that it did and that they were the only option. Police have proven that they are not the answer to safety and in fact are in active danger. Another belief that I've held all my life is that voting is a way to make systems change. It is a way for my voice and the voices of my fellow community members to be heard. We have an opportunity right now to step into the urgency of this moment and allow Minneapolis residents to create a future of public safety that actually means safety for all people instead of safety for white people and fear for everyone else. I ask you to support the Charter Amendment. By making a recommendation by August 5th, we can move closer to a transformed city, a city where all voices are heard and people aren't living in fear, but are more connected to each other and true safety. Thank you, and let us vote.
Thank you. Next.
The number ending in 0858. 0858. Press *6 to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead, speaker.
Press *6 again. All right. The number ending in 0202. 0202. Press *6 to unmute.
Hi, my name is. Hi, I live in Powderhorn. I'm Cynthia Gomez, and I teach in North Minneapolis. I've seen the MPD's contempt for our communities taken out on the bodies of my students, and they showed the whole world, from the murder of George Floyd to their subsequent police riot over many days. They can't help themselves even when the cameras are rolling. What are we supposed to do with a toxic force rotten with racist and white nationalist elements, even if there are some good cops? Today, the Floyd family announced that they're seeking a financially prohibitive settlement from the city. Money for these settlements comes from what are called police misconduct bonds, loans from banks and from Wall Street. And in that fact lies the dreadful bottom line of policing. The police were designed to protect property from people. All you have to do as a charter commission is put the question to the voters. We want to say in the future of public safety in our city. It would be irresponsible to deny us the chance.
Thank you. Next.
The number ending in 2209. 2209. Go ahead.
Hello, this is Jess Sundin. I am a resident of West Phillips, and I'm calling in opposition to the proposed charter amendment, which does nothing to address police accountability or to cut police funding in favor of alternatives that address community needs. These are the things that community members and families have been marching for, and instead the proposed amendment gives us a fill in the blank and just wants us to trust that it's the change that we've been looking for. Instead, the amendment puts more power into the hands of a city council that has already failed us. They've done nothing to cut funding. Instead, they currently have 100 more police on the force than are the minimum requirement of today's charter. The new amendment doesn't guarantee they will defund at all. They have done nothing to address the failure of their own departments to discipline officers, whether that's Derek Chauvin or Bob Kroll, who have piles and piles of complaints against them, including millions of dollars in settlements. They have not exercised their power to negotiate a contract that reins in the Minneapolis Police Federation. They paid out a
for the family of Jamar Clark, that was 1% that what was paid to Justine Damon Ruschek's family. The
Thank
city
you.
can and should invest in alternatives.
That's
and
your time,
ensure
Speaker.
that violence cops off our streets.
The next number ending in 5166. 5166. Press star 6 to unmute.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead. Speaker, you are garbled. You come in and out.
Sorry, we'll have to move on. The number ending in 4657. 4657. Press star 6 to unmute.
Hello,
Hello? Go ahead.
I'm Justin Hagan. I'm calling from Ward 3. I would like to urge the commission to put the amendment diverting funds away from the MPD on the upcoming ballot. In the wake of George Floyd's murder, Minneapolis residents have demanded better community safety options and deserve the opportunity to vote on the possibilities as soon as possible. We want a new model for building safe communities. Thanks.
Thank you. Next.
The number ending in 3727. 3727. Press star 6 to unmute.
Hi, this is Richard Zimmerman from the Loring Park neighborhood.
We hear you. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm calling in opposition to the charter amendment. It's vague language. It's what each council member wants or dreams about. There's no exact language. And I don't think we can put that on a charter, you know? And every caller tonight has called about a different idea. And that's why we need a deliberative body such as yourself to throw back to the council to say, you guys need to do some more work on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
The number ending in 5649. 5649. Press star 6 to unmute.
Hi.
Hi. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Lyndon Galboy. I have a siren in the background because I'm just leaving a protest for Chia Shi Fang Vu, who was killed by the Minneapolis police, and those police are still on the streets, and this amendment would do nothing to stop putting those police on the streets. You can read it. It says it basically does nothing but give some power to the city council, who we cannot trust because they are the ones who could have done something about it. The mayor could have done something about these killer cops, and they didn't. We need specific language that actually puts power in the hands of the people to hold killer cops accountable, past, present, and future. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
The number ending in 5882. 5882. Press star 6 to unmute.
Hi, this is Reverend Lori Bushbaum.
Go ahead. We hear you.
Hi, I'm calling in support of the amendment. Morally and ethically, we must do everything in our power as swiftly as possible to dismantle the systems of racism that have harmed people of color from the very founding of this country. Right now in Minneapolis, that means completely rebuilding the current MPD into your Department of Community Safety and Violence Prevention. That process begins with the charter amendment passed by the City Council going to the voters of Minneapolis. The whole world is watching Minneapolis to see if we do the right thing. We need your recommendation by August 5th. Let us vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
The next number ending in 8753. 8753.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead, speaker.
My name is Emma. I live in Ward 6 on City Riverside. I support the charter amendment and that it should be on the ballot this November. During the days and weeks after George Floyd's horrific murder by the MPD, I witnessed violence and harassment from the MPD across Twin Cities. I also witnessed my experience communities banding together to protect and support and look out for each other. We don't need a reform. We don't need defunding of the. We don't need reform, but we do need defunding of the MPD and funding for community alternatives and harm reduction and transformative justice. We need basic needs met for everyone.
Thank you. Next.
The number ending in 8131. 8131. Press *6 to unmute.
My name is Janet Schmidt.
Go ahead, we hear you.
That's good. Okay, my name is Janet Schmidt. I've lived in Central Neighborhood for 30 years. I think what I'm noticing in terms of the comments is that we have kind of two steps here, and the first one related to the Charter Commission is to put the amendment on the ballot. There's a huge momentum about potential change, and it is in your power to just table this and have it not move forward. I think that would be an incredible miscarriage of your role in promoting good government, representative good government. So I hope that you will do what we need to do to get it on the ballot in November and let the voters decide. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number ending in 3950. 3950. Press *6 to unmute. The number ending in 9708. 9708.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Go ahead, speaker. We can hear you.
Yeah, hi. My name is Lars Negstead. I live in Standish. I'm calling in support of the Charter Amendment. Today, there was a 4-hour-long hearing in the Minnesota State Senate with 3 Minneapolis Police Federation leaders. Their bloodlust was tangible, and it was sickening. They testified that they were itching to escalate with even more violence a building. It is clear we need change. We cannot get there through minor reforms. More paperwork, more hiring, more exhortations from our mayor just are not going to cut it. Over the past weeks, we've heard the mayor say culture eats policy for breakfast. So what enables that culture? Failure of leadership of the mayor, constraints in the city charter, lack of power of the city council. The only way to root out a toxic culture is a major intervention. Our city council was unanimous in moving this amendment. They've studied the issue, talked to the community. They've launched a process for bringing people together to reimagine public safety. I urge you to honor their leadership, honor democracy, and let us vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
The number ending in 0482. 0482. Press *6 to unmute.
My name is Greta Gard, and I'm from the Longfellow neighborhood.
Go ahead, we can hear you. Speaker, we can't hear you. You're garbled.
Hello, my name is Greta Gard from the Longfellow. Hello?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Thank you. I think that Minneapolis knows what we don't want, but we're not very clear about what we do want. When you put forward this charter amendment with what its content is, you're conflating two separate decisions. People do want the charter amended, but we need some conversation about what it would be. Right now in the Minnesota legislature, the People of Color and Indigenous Caucus has put forward some proposals for changing Minnesota's law enforcement system statewide, and we could look at those in Minneapolis. Since the murder of George Floyd, Minneapolis has seen an increase in violent crimes, drug use, sex work, public harassment, and this situation exceeds our capacity as working families. We are already at capacity, managing full-time jobs, parenting, caring for elders. We need skilled and trained public employees to manage the many needs of our cities, which include safety and support for those facing the challenges of mental illness, addictions, housing, lost work, domestic violence, and more. Please consider separating these. Thank you.
Thanks. Next, please.
The number ending in 7733. 7733.
Go ahead, speaker.
7733. Press *6. The number ending in 0356. 0356. Press *6 to unmute. The number ending in 6591. 6591. Press *6 to unmute. The number ending in 5978. 5978. The number ending in 6782. 6782. Press *6 to unmute. The number ending in 4241. 4241. Press *6 to unmute. The number ending in 6338. 6338. Press *6 to unmute.
Hey, can you people hear me?
Go ahead.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Hey, so I don't know if this even needs to come to the floor. It sounds like the cops are going to retire or claim PTSD or whatever. So I'm all for that actually, because maybe that's what needs to happen. I'm curious how much crime was in the warehouse district when the Super Bowl was here. What were you doing that resulted in that time frame of safety? Was it adding police or decreasing police? And who's going to stand in front of the camera when the shootings go through the roof? Who's going to answer for all the burglaries, robberies, home invasions, and murder? Do you think your precious little activists are going to be there for you? They're just going to be demanding more free crap.
Next, please.
So 733, or go back to 60.
The number ending in 6338. 6338. Try the number ending in 7333. The number ending in 7333. Press *6 to unmute. The number ending in 4300. 4300.
Hello, did you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Hello, did you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, speaker. We can hear you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Imam Hassan Jama. I have been a resident of Minneapolis for the past 20 years, and I have currently live in Ward 9. I'm a leader of my community, the East African Somali community. I'm the executive director of Islamic Association of North America. As a Black resident in South Minneapolis, my family and my community, we are facing firsthand what police brutality looks like and the reality of losing someone you love to the streets. This is an urgent issue for us, and we need immediate action to keep our loved ones safe. I urge the commission to do their job and send the recommendations immediately for this charter before August 5th. As a Minneapolis resident, we want our voices heard, and our vote matters. We are asking you, let us vote without any delay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 6793. 6793.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can. Go ahead, please.
Oh, I made it in. Okay, my name is Sheila. I live in Ward 9, and I support putting this amendment on the ballot. So let's be clear, everyone except for that precious little activist guy does not like the police. The people of Minneapolis do not want any more police. The first public hearing already happened. It happened in the streets. We all have different opinions on how to reduce violent policing in our city, but scrambling to unmute 1 minute to talk or one-way written testimony is not democratic. It's also not democratic to have unelected, unrepresentative commissioners put forward proposals for police reform, even if reform could work, which it cannot, especially when so many members are unabashedly pro-police. And when even the commissioner who sat on the Police Oversight Commission can't distinguish one Black council member from the other. When not a single one of you live in the most police areas of Minneapolis, please let the people who live everywhere decide. Put this amendment on the ballot. Let us allow to have the appropriate democratic discussion, and let's abolish the police.
Thank you. Next.
The number ending in 7264. 7264. Press *6 to unmute. Go ahead.
Go ahead, speaker.
Oh, I apologize. I had myself muted while I was listening. My name is Sam. I'm with the Twin Cities Coalition for Justice for Jamar. We've been doing this work over the past 5 years. I'm a North Minneapolis resident, actually, in the Willard Hay neighborhood, and a Minneapolis resident overall almost 20 years now. We work with primarily communities on the north side, those families who've been impacted by police violence, and mainly Black residents, working class residents, but in fact, all working class residents. What the proposed charter amendment, what people aren't saying is that this was a charter amendment that's been negotiated over the past year behind closed doors in a process that has not been democratic. And now we have city council members who never took responsibility for the blood that was on their hands for the past years that they've been elected, try to act like they're going to do something when they've never done anything before, when they actually had the power the entire time. So what do we need instead of this? We need community control of the police. And yes, it's going to take a charter amendment, but this is not the charter amendment. This is a charter amendment that is not from our communities, not from the people, and honestly, not from long-term residents of Minneapolis. And a lot of folks on this phone call are actually white. And so we need community control of the police, and we need to vote this, not to vote on this.
Thank you. Next, please.
The phone number ending in 1177. 1177.
Hi, this is Neva with Marcy.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Great. I am speaking to support the amendment and urge you to allow us to vote on this year. It is the community's right to shape the charter, and all we ask is that this commission not stand in our way. And it is urgent, and people's lives depend on it. The lives of Black and Indigenous people depend on it. The lives of people with disabilities depend on it, and we need you to act accordingly. And I also want to speak to people who are voicing their concerns that the City Council and Mayor should be doing more to defund the police with the power they currently have. I agree, and that's why I also will speak at the budget hearing on July 21st, and I urge other people to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 0868. 0868.
Hi, this is Camille Mitchell.
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. My name is Camille Mitchell, and I am a resident of the Central neighborhood. We need you to do your job. Many people across the city are understanding a new way how violent the Minneapolis police system is and how desperately we need better systems to keep each other safe. It's past time for us to have that conversation, but that conversation is for the whole community. It's not up for the commission to guide that conversation or to answer those questions, but it is up to you to put this on the ballot so the community can decide. It's not the Charter Commission's job to chart the path forward for MPD and to design systems that will make all of us in Minneapolis feel safer. It's your role to make sure that the amendment belongs on the ballot and that we follow the right procedures and that the amendment is related to our city charter. Thank you.
The next number.
Next, please.
The number ending in 6111. 6111. That's 6111. Press star 6 to unmute.
Hi.
Go ahead, speaker.
I live in the 12th Ward. I believe the best way to improve policing in the Minneapolis doesn't even require a change in the city charter, and that is to outsource police coverage either to St. Paul Police Department or alternatively to Hennepin County Sheriff. Outsourcing police coverage would have three large and immediate benefits. First, the St. Paul Police Department or whatever entity would almost certainly need to hire most of the current Minneapolis officers, but any officer whose record or attitudes suggest they would not respect all Minneapolis residents could be rejected. Second, the Toxic and Obstructionist Police Federation would no longer exist and thus could no longer stand in the way of needed reforms. And third, if Minneapolis outsources policing, going forward, it would no longer be on the hook for outrageously large financial settlements for police misconduct. We have 7% of the state's population, yet in recent years, we've had more than half of the expenditures statewide for police misconduct.
Thank you.
This outrageous figure will only grow when the settlements from the George Floyd case come
Thank
in.
you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
The number ending in 2291. 2291.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Ebony Chambers. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, my name is Ebony Chambers, and I'm with the Barbershop and Black Congregation Cooperative of Isaiah. And I would like to say that I've heard language from one of you stating that you don't want to rush, but it is convenient for you all to say when people being killed, it's okay when people are being killed that don't look like you. Now, the window of opportunity is small, and I need for you to do your job and push this amendment through. We need to see this on the ballot. We as residents of Minneapolis and members of the disenfranchised community are tired of the white disconnected people making decisions for us. Our voice holds value, and our rights to vote always be prioritized and encouraged. Put this on the vote. Put this on the ballot. I demand that we vote on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 5221. 5221. The number ending in 3356. 3356. Press *6 to unmute. The number ending in 0559. 0559. Press *6 to unmute.
Hello?
Go ahead. Thank you. We can hear you.
Hello?
Go ahead, speaker. We can hear you. Hello.
Hello, my name is Nakima Levy Armstrong. I'm a civil rights attorney. I've been working on the issue of police accountability for at least the last 15 years. I'm also a North Minneapolis resident. I do not support this proposed charter amendment for a number of reasons. Number one, city council members did not do their job. They've been lazy and incompetent in terms of pushing for police accountability and reform, despite us coming to City Hall time and time again, demanding that they do their jobs. So they're bypassing any possible reforms and going straight for dismantling the police without really having any input from the Black community, and particularly the people who are most impacted by the shootings and things that have happened in our community. We think that this is an injustice, what they're doing, and it's just more oppression on top of oppression without actually hearing from the people who are most impacted by police violence and community violence. If this goes on the ballot, people will be voting on something without having any real information as to what they're signing up for. We cannot reward a lack of due diligence and incompetence on the part of our city leaders. So I urge you all to vote no on putting this on the ballot. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 3894. 3894.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead. We hear you.
My name is Malcolm Jameson. I'm here as a Minneapolis resident and member of Black Visions, and I'm here in support of the amendment to the charter. I'm here to call on the Charter Commission to approve the amendment that would remove MPD as a city department and replace it with the Department of Community Safety. Put this amendment on the ballot so the voters can have a say. We are here because George Floyd should still be alive today. We are here because we never want to watch another Black person be murdered by the police, ever. We are here because we are visioning a world where Black people, queer and trans people, Native people, poor and working class people, immigrants, disabled people, where all of us can truly be safe. It is strange to talk about the legal process and the procedural details for putting something on the ballot because our dreams for our city are so much bigger than that. But we are here tonight because it is not up to you as members of the Charter Commission to set the path forward to stop MPD from murdering Black people and to build a city where we all feel safe. Young Black people in this city are already leading the way on that journey. This process is incredibly important, one for our community to go through together. Every single person in our city will have a role. Your job in that process is to make sure that the amendment we proposed is appropriate for the charter and that it shouldn't go through a different avenue, like an ordinance.
Thank you.
If it meets that standard, then your job is to put it on the ballot. We are calling for you to focus on that, on your role. So,
sorry, your time is up. Thanks. Next, please.
The number ending in 9035. 9035.
Thank you. My name is.
Go ahead, speaker.
Hi, my name is Chris Stinson. I live in Whittier, and I support the amendment. I grew up poor and gay in western South Dakota. I knew from a young age that I wanted to work in politics, get married, and have kids. And I want to thank everybody who worked on the Vote No campaign in 2012. I'm elated to share that my husband Paul and I were married in September. Because of that amendment, Minnesota led the conversation, a national conversation about love, commitment, and family. And Minneapolis is a place where I can live my dreams and live my full authentic identity. Minneapolis deserves to be a place where everyone, regardless of our race, origin, or gender identity, can move through our community without fearing for our lives or our loved ones. It would be unacceptable for members of this body to use a procedural loophole to short-circuit that long overdue conversation.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 4121. 4121. Press *6 to unmute.
This is Dave Bicking from South Minneapolis. I work with Communities United Against Police Brutality. We have already submitted a paper in opposition to this charter amendment. Our organization has been working for police accountability for 20 years in Minneapolis. We believe in some fundamental changes in the police, but this charter amendment is not the way to do it. Procedural details do matter. This charter amendment would not accomplish what most of the commentators here, for very good reason, wish to accomplish. It was not well thought out, it's hastily put together, and a better process is needed for putting together a charter amendment that would actually accomplish greater police accountability in Minneapolis. I urge the Charter Commission to do that process and to do it as needed as was done in 2018. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next caller, please.
The next caller is our 110th caller. The number ending in 5951. 5951.
Hello.
We hear you. Go ahead.
Hello. My name's Andy Pearson, and I live in the Central neighborhood, just a few blocks from 38th in Chicago. I'm calling in full support of the charter amendment. Please put it on the ballot this year. We're about to have an important overdue conversation as a city about what public safety looks like here. So I want you to think for a minute about a big conversation you may have had in your own life. Maybe think about one that worried you a little, and remember how much you hoped for others to approach that conversation with an open mind. Maybe remember a moment where you were intentional about bringing an open mind to a big conversation and something good that brought. So we're being asked to have a conversation as a city, and this charter change is the only way that we can have an open mind about it. Please send the charter change to a vote, because the people in Minneapolis, my neighbors who have worked for so long to reimagine public safety, deserve to be heard by their city, and they deserve to be met with an open mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 0266. 0266.
Hello.
Hello. Go ahead, please.
My name is Lacey Mamick, and I'm a Ward 11 resident, and I support the amendment. This is the first time that I've testified at any public hearing. I have been watching the commission and the work group hearings, and I've noticed some scope creep by the commissioners in some of those hearings. Frankly, it's not your job to determine if you personally support the proposed amendment, but it is your job to determine if the amendment presents a worthy ballot question. And it's clear from the current local and national discussion about public safety reform that this is a worthy subject of debate. I assume all commissioners here value the democratic process, so I ask that you recommend this amendment in time for placement on the November ballot, when it has the greatest number of residents can have their say. The MPD is way beyond reform, and any future law enforcement department should not be an organizational island like the MPD is today, reporting only to the mayor and without transparency. Law enforcement should report to city council, and just as the fire department does now. While some commissioners may see the charter amendment as vague, I see it as flexible and future forward. Please recommend and refer the amendment back by the August deadline. Thank you.
Thanks. Next, please.
The number ending in 2880. 2880.
Hello.
Hello. Go ahead. We can hear you. Go ahead, speaker.
Thank you. Hi.
My name is Eliana. I grew up in Ward 13. I went to South High. After 10 years in New York, it was good to come home to Linden Hills with my husband and daughter, but the murder of George Floyd is a wake-up call. Minnesota is one of the most segregated states in the country. Police in Minneapolis kill Black people at a rate 13 times the rate that they kill white people. In 2017, Bob Kroll won re-election with 70% of MPD officers voting for him. The goal of the amendment is to create room for change. The status quo is racist. Some have expressed fear about this amendment, but to take a slow approach, you have to be confident that it won't be your child or your friend or yourself that will be killed by the MPD next. In Sunday school, I learned this. Do not stand idly by while your neighbor bleeds. The Charter Commission should make a recommendation by August 5th. A sense of urgency about this is a way of showing empathy and regard for human life. Let us vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 3963. 3963. Press *6 to unmute.
Speaker,
my name is Dale Hume, and I live and work in North Minneapolis. I'm speaking against the amendment. I support the other North Minneapolis residents, including Nikema Levy-Pounds, who oppose the amendment. But I will add this. I've lived in North Minneapolis 41 years, and in those years, I've experienced crime and the police. But what is going on now with the fear that this amendment will go on the ballot is making me think of alternatives to my home of 41 years. And I'm not alone. We need police reform, but not like this. Alexa, give me the phone number for a private security firm.
Thank you. Next.
The number ending in 8562. 8562.
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, speaker.
This is Al Flowers voting against this amendment. 256 people shot in the last week, July 7th through the 13th. 32 victims shot, majority African Americans. Since George Floyd died, 19 people have died since then. Only 15 before he died. Let me say what Nikema Levy-Pounds Armstrong said. In solid support, the city council did not meet with the African American community. The Charter Commission do not be bullied by these antics where they got 100 people calling in. They got it all stacked up against, but none of them are out there where my community is dying at. So I'm speaking as an activist. I can say I'm speaking on behalf of majority of African Americans in this state where George Floyd was an African American descendant of the slaves. And I'm saying this is wrong what they're doing. They're getting us killed right now. And this Charter Commission, I'm telling you, do not bow down to their pressure of all these calls, these white people calling. And I'm saying that. Thank you. I'm vote against this amendment right now to get.
Okay, thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 6553. 6553.
Hi, my name is.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Adam Johnson, and I live in the Wyndham Park neighborhood of Northeast Minneapolis, and I'm calling in support of the Charter Amendment. As previous callers have noted, it's time to move past the destructive and counterproductive form of policing that reinforces the existing inequalities of both race and poverty. It's important to realize that the Charter Amendment simply creates options and not wholesale policy change. We have plenty of time to discuss what our new vision of public safety will look like, but we can't do that with the constraints of the existing charter. I urge the members of the commission to understand that the position is simply an advisory one and that you are not elected officials. Please respect the democratic process by sending the charter amendment with whatever language recommendations you'd like to add back to the council in time for November's election. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 0554. 0554. Press *6 to unmute. The number ending in 7012. 7012. The number ending in 8369. 8369. Press *6 to unmute. The number ending in 3732. 3732. Press *6 to
Hello?
unmute. There you go.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Hello?
Go ahead, we
Can
can
you hear
hear
me?
you. Yes, we can.
Hi. Great. My name is Anna Rebelinsky. I have been a resident of Minneapolis for most of the last 30 years, and I currently live in the Lindale neighborhood. I'm urging the commission to make a recommendation about the charter amendment by August 5th to allow for public vote. This summer, we saw a massive social upheaval following the murder of George Floyd by the Minneapolis police. Hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets to tell us that something is wrong with our system. We must have a conversation about this. We must, to prevent us from voting on this issue, is to stifle this conversation and the democratic process. It is critical that we address the issue of police brutality against people of color now. Let us talk about how we move forward. Let us vote.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 3472. 3472.
Hi, Chair Clegg, Charter Commission. My name is Tina Sands, and I live in Ward 12 of South Minneapolis. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm personally incredulous about the City Council's actions because there was no study preceding this. There were no experts presenting publicly to the City Council in a public hearing, and no expert justifications were provided to the policymakers. It's very important for us to remember that elected representatives are rarely subject matter experts. Instead, their job is to evaluate expert data both for and against a proposal, and then work with their other 12 colleagues to make an informed decision. Let me be clear, putting this amendment on the ballot would be like giving a blank check to the City Council with none of the details filled in. As well-intentioned as it may have been, their actions appear either grossly uninformed or to have taken place behind closed doors. Not a lick of this information was provided prior to the group's announcement of defund the police.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, please.
The number ending in 5524. 5524. Press *6.
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, we can hear you. Go ahead, speaker.
Press *6 again. There you go. Now you're unmuted.
Go ahead, speaker.
Can you hear me, Mr. Chairman?
Now we can, yes.
Okay. This is Steve Kramer from the Northup neighborhood. Thank you all for the diligence you're bringing to this topic. I don't believe the charter question, which has been forwarded to you, is well enough developed to warrant placement on the ballot. There is a lack of detail about what approach to public safety the amendment is intended to usher in, and whether the intended approach can be legally implemented. It's not that a detailed safety plan would be enshrined in the charter, but rather that a plan which justifies and necessitates a change to the charter should be widely understood and known to be legally permissible. That way voters will know what is at stake if they vote yes or if they vote no. At this point, removing MPD from the city charter shouldn't be an end in and of itself. It should be a clearly required means to a legally permissible end, But since that end has not yet been defined, the matter before you does not meet that test. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 0401. 0401.
Hello?
Hello, go ahead.
Hello?
Hello, we hear
Can
you.
you hear
Go
me?
right ahead.
Hi, my name is Dulce Monterrubio, and I live in the Standish neighborhood in South Minneapolis. I'm a brown immigrant from Mexico that has called Minneapolis home for 20 years. I demand that the Commission moves the Community Safety Amendment to a November ballot, and that you support a process where we, the residents of Minneapolis, can vote for a community safety department that prioritizes safety for all, instead of requiring there be a department that punishes, criminalizes, incarcerates, and kills the most vulnerable members of our community, including Black and brown bodies, unsheltered folks, folks struggling with addiction, folks grappling with poverty, and struggling with mental health. We, the residents of Minneapolis, deserve to use our voices and our votes to remove a department that contributes violence in our communities. Today, you have the power, even though you were not elected, to let us vote. And I urge you to make the recommendation for a charter amendment by August 5th. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 7487. 7487.
Hi, this is Natasha.
Go ahead, caller.
Hi, this is Natanya Johnson. Can you all hear me?
We can hear you.
Hello, Commissioner Clay and all the other commissioners. I vote no against this amendment, and I do so because it's not even ready. This amendment has not been vetted out. The City Council failed to include community input, especially from the African American community. And what it's doing is just changing the name. Well, we need to have a discussion about what the new name represents. What does policing look like under this new name? Who's in charge of the Minneapolis Police? And they still cannot move around the Police Federation. So this amendment is not ready. No. So I vote no, and I urge all you commissioners to send it back to the City Council to flesh out and get community input. Thank you, Commissioner Clay, for your leadership. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, please.
The number ending in 8319. 8319.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Great. Thank you. My name is Martha. I'm a homeowner in the Stewart neighborhood, here to speak in support of allowing us to vote to change the charter so that we can feel safe in our homes. We need to fulfill the promise that our council members made to us on June 7th to defund the police so we can feel safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
We're on the 135th caller. The number ending in 9337. 9337.
Hello.
Go ahead, please. We hear you.
Hello.
Go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
Gotcha. Hi. My name is Christian Ray. I'm a leader with Youth Push of BBCC and a Black man from Minneapolis. And the reason I'm here today is to let y'all know we need you to pass this amendment by August 5th. As a Black man, I don't think anyone on this Charter Commission will understand the fear I experience when I see those flashing lights. I don't see police as safety. I see police as a threat to my life solely based on the fact I know I'll get treated differently because of my race. We have an opportunity to build something entirely new that won't just protect white people from Black people, but protect all of us. Not letting us vote on this issue in November is silencing a whole community of people who get fearful when they see those lights, just like me. These people need to be heard and decide how we go forward, building a public safety force that works for all of us in this city. I ask y'all to stand with the youth and stand with the community. BBCC Youth Push. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 0981. 0981.
Hi, my name is Madeline.
Go ahead. We can hear you.
Hi,
I'm Madeline Gardner. I'm a resident of Ward 12, and I want to encourage the commission to approve the amendment as it is written and put it on the ballot for this November. Our elected officials, our city council voted unanimously on this language. I think it is appropriate in that it will give our elected officials the power to improve public safety in our city. The murder of George Floyd and the aftermath and the already attempted reforms in MPD have not worked, and our government needs a broader power to make our city safe. There are enough people that want this that it should go before the voters. Please, please let the voters decide. Let this conversation continue. I have heard people say that there's been no study on this. I've heard people say that there isn't enough of a plan. There are numerous examples.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 5254, 5254.
My name's Chris.
Go ahead.
My name's Chris. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
I'm a psychiatric nurse for over 30 years in a local emergency room. I interact with police on almost a daily basis. I'm involved in the police training and a member of the Police Mental Health Roundtable. I do not support this amendment. Nationwide, and particularly in Minnesota, we have had an increase in mental health and substance abuse emergencies in our emergency rooms, many of them interfacing with Minneapolis Police Department. They have not been adequately trained to deal with these. Many of these, we have a methamphetamine problem. It's a public health crisis here. Many of these people have excited deliriums. They pose a huge threat of violence. 82% of these people in states of excited delirium exhibit assaultive behavior and pose a significant threat of grievous and bodily harm or death to those interacting with them. De-escalation does not work with persons under the influence of illicit drugs.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 6682, 6682. The number ending in 2115, 2115. Press star 6.
Go ahead, speaker.
My name is Jana Swisstrand, and I live in the Lowry Hill of Ward 7. And I'm asking the Charter Commission to please act on this proposal by August 5th. I've been discussing public safety with my neighbors since 2004 when they started conversations with me because of the Minneapolis Police Department refusal to respond in burglaries and progress. And more recently, I discussed it with my tenants when we were afraid to call the police because one of our neighbors was having a mental health crisis and we were worried about his safety. Minneapolis residents have been engaging in conversations about safety and the failures of our police department for a long time. People are ready to be heard. We want a chance to vote this up or down. Please act on this amendment by August 5th. Let us vote.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 6059, 6059.
Yes,
Go ahead. We hear you.
I am Amy Blumenshine. I moved into our current Powderhorn home in 1982. After decades of being a block club captain, I urge you to decide by August 5th to let the people vote. We've got to make it better for the next generation. My white family tried to make a difference by fighting crime, but the people of color on my block were living in a different world from me. The institutions I trusted felt like oppression to them. I tried to get them involved in community crime prevention. They told me they wanted to stop police brutality. I thought they were whining, but they knew stuff I didn't know and their trust was gone. Over the years, my trust has gone too. I pushed for punishing the killers of Tyesha Edwards. It now appears more harm was done. We were pushing to the police to do stuff that they couldn't do. It's harmful for those human beings in the police force too. We cannot return to how it used to be. We must reshape our safety system so that all believe it's fair and are willing to participate. This is the historic moment for which you were born. Rise to the challenge. Let us vote.
Next, please.
The number ending in 5820. 5820.
Hello.
Hello, go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Great. Hi, my name is Betty Tissel. I live in Kingfield with 61 years in Minneapolis. First, I want to recognize the Charter Commission for your service, volunteering your time for our city. Thank you. Okay, Minneapolis needs to amend the charter so that other changes can occur. We need to take advantage of the energy and momentum created by recent tragedies, or we will slip back into inertia. We can't push the snooze button again, so please make your recommendation by August 5th and let us vote. The council voted unanimously to move this amendment forward, and they represent a variety of voices. Minneapolis is not alone in working to transform its public safety departments. Cities around the country are taking action, and the world is watching us now. Let us vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 6800. 6800.
Hello?
Go ahead, speaker. We can hear you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jennifer. I live in Ward 10, and I support the recommendation of the amendment as written by August 5th. During my years as a Minneapolis resident, I've watched as 4 mayors pledged community safety reform, better training for licensed peace officers, and a reduction of harm on residents. I've watched 5 Minneapolis police chiefs promise the same. 25 years of promises not kept. As shown by the thousands who took to the streets in the past 7 weeks, incremental change within the confines of the current charter language is failing. The status quo costs an outrageous sum in settlements, psychological trauma, and unjustified death. I support the amendment to go to voters this November to free our city from a narrow, outdated structure and make room to reimagine new, compassionate collaboration in partnership with community and a broader sense of what public safety means in 2020 and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 5616. 5616.
Yeah, I'm not going to listen to that.
Hello, my name is Robert.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, in response to the proposed charter amendment that would allow defunding the police department, it is my opinion that at the very least it is way too soon to be talking about making such a radical change. The state hasn't completed its investigation of Minneapolis police, and the 4 police officers that have been charged have not yet been tried. There will most likely be recommendations stemming from the investigation and trials. The charge has been made that systemic racism is the main reason why the police department must go. A systemic problem means that the problem is a basic one and is experienced by the whole of an organization. So far, there has been very little evidence presented that I am aware of that documents a problem within the Minneapolis Police Department of that magnitude. There are undoubtedly racists within the department, and they need to be dealt with. And procedures need to be put in place to reform the department. But until and unless the results of an independent investigation by a legitimate authority concludes that the department is beyond fixing and must be defunded and replaced with a new system,
thank you.
There should be no rush to defund.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, please.
The number ending in 9947. 9947.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. Go ahead,
You can
please.
hear me now, I assume.
Yes,
Alex
we can hear you.
Adams from Ward. Alex Adams, can you hear me? Ward 3.
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, most of what I was going to comment on has been stated, but I'd like to repeat just a couple of them. One is that the culture of the police department has persisted over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mayors, and it really hasn't changed much. It seems as if people are still victims of their violence, and for that reason, I'd like to see this go to a vote so that the public can judge how a mayor-based police system works versus the opportunity to have the council have authority or power over it. We don't need to know all of the details yet. And in fact, an election will allow the mayor and council members to discuss this issue. This issue will go all the way up to the election and will be a common thread of any discussion. And that's what I think we need, is to continue to discuss this issue. And it may not pass. And if the council does get power and authority over the police department,
Thank you. Next caller, please.
The number ending in 0246. 0246. Press star 6 to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I live in Ward 1, and I've lived in Minneapolis for 30 years, my whole life. I'm calling in support of the charter amendment. I think that everyone in Minneapolis who wants to vote should be able to vote on this. It's important that we make real systemic change, and this is one step in that direction. People took to the streets in the last few weeks, ever since George Floyd was murdered, even during a deadly pandemic, to make their voices heard. It's clear that we want change, and we deserve the right to exercise our right to vote. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 3796. 3796.
Hi, my name.
Go ahead. We can hear you.
Hi, my name is June Tiemann, and I'm a white Southwest Minneapolis resident who had no idea that a unanimous veto-proof vote by the City Council could run up against such a secretive, unelected, and unrepresentative body as the Charter Commission. If this body chooses to not let Minneapolis voters have a voice in this crucial matter this fall, I think it's possible that many voters like me will want to figure out how we can change the Minneapolis Constitution to remove secretive, unelected, unrepresentative bodies like the Charter Commission. Thank you for listening to me and the larger voices of democracy.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 5369. 5369.
Hello?
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go
Hi,
ahead, please.
My name is Chevy, and I just want to say that I agree with Ms. Levi Pounds, and I support the fact that the amendment has very vague language and that there has been no community input into this amendment. And also it's something that was created prior to everything that's happening, not because of. We have the ability to create a new police force without this amendment, and immediately. We need immediate action. I think people are confused as to what this amendment does, and I don't feel like that is fair to the residents of our community. We do need a new structure. Everybody for and against the amendment agrees that we do need a new structure. But nobody in our community that I've heard said wants please these things by men and women, and without input from the residents. Tennessee County has had virtual facilitators for almost 10 years. I could have easily got input from all of the residents to
Thank you.
restructure the police department.
Thank you. Next,
The number ending in 5946. 5946.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, please.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Myrick, and I'm a resident of the Whittier neighborhood in Ward 10. I'm calling tonight to express my full support for allowing our city to vote on the proposed charter amendment in November. I think that this is an incredibly time-sensitive and urgent issue because it's a matter of people's physical and emotional safety. I think the uprising made it very clear that people are demanding change now. They are not content. I am not content. My neighbors are not content with waiting a year. I watched the last meeting and I totally agree with Councilmember Ellison when he said that to begin the process of involving the community in reimagining public safety, only to tell community members at the end of that process that the charter makes it impossible to really change anything would be disingenuous. This amendment is flexible and it allows our city to begin the process of moving towards actual safety. So I ask the Charter Commission to submit your recommendation by August 5th and let us vote. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 9948. 9948.
Hi, my name is Daisy.
Hi, go ahead, please.
Oh, hi. Hi, my name is Daisy and I am a resident of South Minneapolis. I work in housing advocacy here in Hennepin County. I'm here to urge the Commission to make a recommendation about the charter by August 5th so that the people of Minneapolis can have their voices heard on the issue of public safety and where we should invest our city's money so that each person can live free from fear. We want to vote on the charter amendment this fall, put it on the ballot. Failure to make a recommendation about the charter is deferring a vision for public safety that keeps us all safe and protected, regardless of race, socioeconomic status, or neighborhood. Please allow the people to decide what safety and community look like. The charter amendment is only the start. Let us vote.
Thank you. Next, please.
Number ending in 0845. 0845.
Hello?
Hello, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Minneapolis. I request that you allow the Community Safety Amendment to appear on the ballot this November, in part because I do not want to set a precedent where the Charter Commission can prevent a charter amendment from appearing on a ballot. I would also like the chance to vote on the Community Safety Amendment because I want Minneapolis to spend more on the community and community safety than we spend on law enforcement. I want people who experience homelessness, addiction, mental and physical health crises, and poverty to receive support to get back on their feet rather than be arrested or killed by law enforcement. The Community Safety Amendment gives us a starting point to do this. It provides a foundation upon which the City Council, community leaders, and community members can advocate for and effect much-needed changes. And everyone in Minneapolis should be allowed to vote on the Community Safety Amendment this November. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 1198. 1198.
Hello.
Hello, please go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me clearly?
We can hear you, yes.
Wonderful. Okay, I got interrupted by an automated thing. I'm sorry. My name is Stephanie Grieb. I live in Ward 7, Lowry Hill. I'm urging you today to let the citizens of Minneapolis vote on this charter amendment this November. Many people have already shared my thoughts on the MPD. In short, when there are issues of public safety, a lot of people in my community don't know who to call because they feel the MPD would be at best unhelpful or at worst deadly. And I know a lot of people have debates about the amendment itself. Whether or not you support the wording of the amendment, we have until November to discuss it. But we only have until August 5th to add it to this ballot. It's clear from the events in the streets the last few months that defunding and abolishing the MPD can't be delayed, and the time is now. So we need to get this on the ballot for this November so the voices of Minneapolis can be heard. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 6142. 6142.
Hi there. My name is Devika, and I'm here in support of putting the Community Safety Amendment on the ballot as well and allowing the democratic process to take place. I live right off of Lake Street in East Phillips. My neighborhood, which is majority people of color and immigrants like myself, has been struggling for years with a host of crime and safety issues that are repeatedly used to justify more and more policing. But almost every single thing we're dealing with here in the Lake Street corridor comes down to the inescapable consequences of living in a place where people's basic needs are not being met. When people's basic needs are not being met, it doesn't matter how many countless millions we pour down the police drain, we will not have a truly safe city. We, the residents of Minneapolis, understand this and are ready to construct our own vision of safety. But for that vision to become reality, we need the chance to vote so that the millions of dollars that are currently being hoarded by the MPD can be reinvested into the community. So I hope you will all do your job and allow the Community Safety Amendment to be voted on by the people. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending in 2792, 2792. The number ending in 8617, 8617. Press *6 to unmute.
Hi, my name is Peter Janelle. I live in Ward 1, Audubon Park. I personally have no confidence that MPD can be reformed in any meaningful way under the current charter structure. We've all seen the failure of past reforms regarding the use of force and police officer conduct, particularly when it comes to abusing our Black, Brown, and Indigenous neighbors. The hands of the City Council, Mayor, and Police Chief are somewhat tied under the current charter structure when it comes to making deep, lasting reforms, and no permanent change is really possible as long as MPD is in charge of policing. With the new Department of Community Safety and Violence Prevention, the Council will have the opportunity to engage local residents and communities to reimagine public safety. But to be able to implement these changes, we need to first change the charter. It's the responsibility of the Charter Commission to allow voters to decide whether we go down this path as we reimagine what public safety looks like in our city. So please complete the work by August 5th so we can vote on this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
We are on 166 of 237. The next number is 8184. The number ending 8184.
Hi, Russ Grigsby.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, hi, Russ Grigsby, Ward 9. Thanks for this opportunity. I'm a pastor in the community here, and just I guess wanted to just express what I and my colleagues, those in the faith community, are expressing at this time, and that is just the fact that this is really, it comes down to just law and order. None of us is excusing what happened to George Floyd, and we all want justice. But I just find it really hypocritical looking at what happened at the Powderhorn Park encampment when that juvenile was sexually assaulted, and there was no police report initially filed. And I just feel like where was the justice for that juvenile? So it seems to me that we're sort of cherry picking what type of justice we want. I feel that it is very much a matter for reform, but not for dismantling. And so I'm in opposition to the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number ending in 2990, 2990.
Hello?
Hello, go ahead. We can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Excellent. My name is Eli Radke. I live in Ward 10, and I would just like to say that I am calling in to support putting the amendment forward by August 5th so that we can vote on it. And I would like to say that I have no confidence in the MPD being able to defend our communities in Minneapolis, and I think that changing the charter is the first step to devising a new way forward for community safety. And I encourage you to put the charter in the November election and let us vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If we don't happen to get to you tonight, we have about 5 minutes left, and you're on the list, you can call the clerk's office and they will put you at the top of the list for next Tuesday's public hearing. So we want to get everybody in. So if you haven't had a chance to get in but can participate next week, then call the clerk's office during normal business hours and they will ensure that you're at the top of that list. Next, please.
The number ending in 1733, 1733.
Hi there, this is Lex.
Go ahead, please.
Hi there, I'm Lex. I live in East Phillips. I'm a member of Reclaim the Block. And I'm here to join so many others in calling on the Charter Commission to let us vote on the amendment about community safety. Reclaim the Block wants to set the record straight on a few things about MPD that have come up in earlier meetings, especially as it relates to community trust. MPD has fought to grow its budget year after year by claiming that this is going to be the year that they'll build trust with the community by hiring co-responders, implementing a new training under the leadership of a new chief. And then 7 weeks ago, MPD murdered George Floyd. We can't keep giving MPD one more chance to build trust. We have to transition to systems that build trust because of what they do and not in spite of it. And right now, the charter is standing in the way of this tremendous change that's needed. So we don't expect everyone in the city to agree about what comes next. We know there's a lot of disagreement, and that's healthy. But we do expect to get the chance to work it out in community and vote on it. Let us vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
The number ending 8261, 8261. The number ending 5996, 5996.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Wonderful. Well, my name is Isaiah Whitmore. I live currently in Ward 7, but I've lived all over Minneapolis throughout the course of my life. Currently running for the Minnesota House of Representatives for 59B, which has witnessed for a lot longer than I've been alive the issues that come when the police are allowed to just run amok. You know, our communities have seen nothing but violence and literal terrorism since the police were basically founded way back when colonizers first stepped off the Mayflower on the East Coast. I am not in support of the Charter Amendment simply based off the fact that we don't have enough actual information that correlates to what the community is asking for. We're not asking for, the police to just be defunded. We're asking for the abolition. We're asking for the abolition because of the fact that there's never been any sort of reform that's been done in regards to the police. It's proven that they can actually maintain law and order. If anything, they've done nothing but speak and help there to be more violence and uprisings and so on and so forth. So we need community control of the police, and we need to abolish the police. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller, please.
The number ending 8921, 8921.
Hear me?
Go ahead, please. We can hear you.
Hello. Am I coming through?
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
My name is Paul Cantrell. I live in Howe. I've lived in Minneapolis for about 18 years and have watched mayor after mayor try and fail to make big changes in the police department. It seems to me that the current structure simply places the police department outside the realm of democratic accountability. And I don't see in this charter amendment a solution. I see the question, should we be able to even discuss big change? So I'm urging the Charter Commission to please put this on the ballot so that we can start to have the conversation about, do we abolish, do we change the structure, do we leave it as it is? Please, please show us that city is actually democratically accountable and give voters the chance to vote on this. Thank you.
Thank you. We will take 2 more callers, and then we'll be at the end of our hearing. Again, though, if you're on the list, please call the clerk's office between now and next week, and their number is 612-673-2216. That's 612-673-2216. And those people will be put at the top of the line for next week's public hearing. Next caller, please.
The number ending 6785. 6785.
Hi, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Connor. Yep, my name is Connor Clausing. I had a whole speech written out, but listening to my neighbors tonight, I feel like people have said it pretty well, and I only want to say that we see you. We know what your job is. We know that your purpose is to decide whether an amendment is fit for the charter or not. And we know that some of you have personal qualms to the amendment. That's fine. Some of you have been vocal about that fact. But we also know that your job is not to let your personal opinion sway assessing if this charter amendment is fit for the ballot. If you have issues with the legal scope of this charter, please suggest changes to make the amendment legally fit for a vote. If you have issues with the wording of the amendment, also please suggest some changes. But the citizens of Minneapolis are asking you, and from what I've heard tonight, and I assume you've heard the same thing, it sounds pretty unanimous. Everybody does not want you to use your position of authority to delay our ability to vote and to shape our city in this critical moment. Thank you. I return my time.
Thank you. And last caller of the public hearing, please. Next.
The number ending 5460. 5460.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can. Please go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the automated message got me too. Okay, my name is Ashley Worth Petrick, and I live in Ward 10. I also want to echo that there is a tendency for people to allow their defenses to make them not able to listen. Again, the commission, your job is to listen. So please check in with your body tonight. I know I'm the last speaker, but check in with your body so that you have that practice and carry it forward to the next hearing. Are you listening defensively? Do you feel defensive energy in your body? Are you checking out? Please make sure that you are not listening only for statements that confirm your own personal opinions and disregarding or not giving the same weight to statements that might be challenging to you. So again, please have active, open listening be your job. I am also saying that I want a chance to vote on this in November. If you choose to delay the process, I'm going to assume you're employing the tactic of voter suppression. Please do not use your authority to use voter suppression against us. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, a reminder to everyone who hasn't been called on tonight yet, but is signed up, call the clerk's office this week at 612-673-2216, and you'll be at the top of the line next week. That completes the public hearing, and I hereby adjourn the public hearing. We will continue receiving comment at our next hearing, which is scheduled for July 21st at 6 p.m. And I also encourage people to submit written comments to councilcomment@minneapolismn.gov. That's councilcomment@minneapolismn.gov. I want to thank everyone who participated in the hearing tonight and everyone who spoke or has already submitted comments. We appreciate your engagement. With that, we've concluded all business to come before us tonight. So without objection, we stand adjourned to July 21st, that's next Tuesday at 6 p.m. for our second public hearing on this proposed amendment. Thanks and good night, everybody.